I know you've been here in a while, but this is how this works. Be quick.
Mrs. Fodor's absent. Mr. Jernerbro? Here. Mr. Kelly?
Present.
Mr. Cove?
Here.
Mrs. Palestrini is absent, and Mr. Robinson.
All right. At this time, please rise for pledge of allegiance. Mr. Maselli is going to lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, if I just came for that, it was good. Thank you. All right, before you, there are the meeting minutes from February 19th. There's no meeting. There are no minutes. Okay, well, I clicked on the thing. Okay, so there are no minutes. So next is the accounts payable for February 19th. I'm sorry, I don't know how to read. Want to be public comments first? Well, yes,
No one has signed up to speak.
thank you. I thought we covered that right before the meeting started. I apologize.
Do you want to speak? Oh.
Yeah. Anybody have any words of wisdom for us? Please review the accounts payable at this time from February 19th. So, to be on or paid on or before the number is. Any questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve the accounts payable. So moved. Second. Questions and or comments? Ms. Clerk, can you call roll, please?
Mr. Jernerbro? Aye. Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Mr. Cove?
Aye.
Mrs. Palestrini? Aye. And Mr. Robinson?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Next, we have an ordinance that, for lack of a different terminology, codifies what we talked about, switching the fiscal budget from our current cycle to calendar year. Steve Housen, do you have anything you'd like to add? There's nothing special to this. It's just, we're just adopting new dates. Any questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
And you, there's no second.
Oh, that's right. I entertain a motion.
Just
We've said me.
quick question.
Sure.
This is effective May 1st, correct?
No, yes, this will be effective for the short year and then we'll change it to calendar year.
Right, but the ordinance goes into effect then May 1st?
It's effective, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just,
Yeah.
because if the effective date switches us as of today to a new
Correct.
calendar year, so I just want to make sure. Okay.
Yes, it is effective at the expiration and starting of what would be for the short year.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You sure?
Let me check, yes, I am.
Thanks.
Okay, still sure.
I'll entertain a motion approving the ordinance, approving the switch of fiscal year.
So moved.
Second.
Questions and or comments? Ms. Clerk, can you call roll, please?
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Mr. Cove?
Aye.
Mrs. Palestrini? Aye. Mr. Robinson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jernerbro? Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
And because we've approved now the switch, we have to make text amendments to the municipal code adopting said switch. That's what this ordinance does, on 2613. I will entertain a motion approving the text amendments. So moved.
Second.
Questions and or comments?
Yeah, question on the duties.
What page?
Sorry, page 3, 1, 3, 4. Is the change isn't the date because the date still says May 15th of each year? Is it just changing who is responsible? It says the clerk. Is it just a verbiage change?
Yeah, that tracks, this tracks the state statute.
So it didn't match before because the date didn't change. I'm just wondering what the difference is between.
Because we don't have an appropriation. So that's stuff that's, yeah,
Let's go.
yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You're explaining it better than I. Yeah.
Please, Mr. Housen.
Yeah.
Jimmy in his place.
So our tax set appropriation, our budget is not an appropriation, right? So we took that out. We couldn't take it totally out because we have to follow the state statute. So we changed the language to match what we currently get. Does that make sense?
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? No, did I take that? We got first and a second? Okay, Ms. Clark, call roll, please.
Mr. Coe?
Aye.
Ms. Palastrellini? Aye. Mr. Robinson?
All right.
Ms. Jernerbro? Aye. And Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
So next, we currently use Axon for our quad cameras, or we're switching to? And did we get any grant money for this, chief?
Well, maybe.
Maybe. All right, so why don't you walk us through this?
So right now we have Motorola in-car camera systems. There's a lot of value. I know we have the body cameras now. There's also a lot of value to our in-car camera systems. The in-car camera systems are not compatible with our body camera system. And they're also they're beyond end of life, like way beyond end of life. And so when they break, if we can find something on eBay, we can fix them. If not, we're kind of out of luck. And so we want to switch over to Axon Fleet system, which would integrate with our body camera system. And there's the cost for that is $126,000. It would be scheduled out, so the first year would be $100,000. And some change, and then after that it'd be about $6,500 a month, or $6,500 a year for the data. Unfortunately, it is something that once we get into it, we're going to be stuck with that data fee for the foreseeable future. But this is the way that all of the vendors are now moving. As a matter of fact, our Motorola cameras that we have right now, if we were to upgrade those, we would be required to go to a cloud-based program. This will take away all of our burden for preserving digital evidence internally. It's all kept in the cloud. It's all backed up, and it's all completely manageable, redactable with good redacting software, which reduces a lot of our staff time. Here's the way this is going to work as far as paying for this. So we did budget $85,000 in fiscal year 26 budget, which we're not. Well, I guess we are still in fiscal year 26. So we have $85,000 budgeted with the caveat that would be grant reimbursed. We added a couple camera systems, so that's what brought it up to that $100,000 number for the first year. They opened up a camera grant, Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board camera grant at the beginning of the year. We applied for that, and we applied for it as a like an upfront payment grant. They have reached out to us and said, we're under consideration, but since we haven't purchased the cameras yet, they want us to do a reimbursement grant instead. So what we're asking for tonight would be for the village for your authorization for the village manager or president to sign a contract with Axon for this purchase, which would include that $100,000 for this fiscal year. And then it just becomes a timing issue that we've been assured by Axon, and I have copies of what's called a non-appropriations agreement a non-appropriations clause that's part of the contracting process with Axon, that if we're unable to appropriate the money, that they would release us from the contract. So, but the state is requiring a signed contract for us to be considered for the reimbursement grant. We don't have to necessarily have expended the money yet, but we have
got a grant for this,
have
for
a
the body
signed
cams, the same way.
Yep, we did.
This is the same process that we used for the body cams. We had to commit to buying the cameras, whether we actually bought the cameras or not, in order to qualify for the grant.
What's the lifespan on these? I mean, are they going to be upgradable
Yeah,
along the way?
they're upgradable. They recommend replacement in 5 years. And so we would end up incurring a cost again in 5 years for the replacement. I don't know what that number would look like at this point. I know that there may be continuing grant funding for camera systems for police departments. I just don't know what that number is gonna look like in 5 years. You know,
To get everything all on the same platform is huge, and I know the amount of troubles that we've had as far as the technology.
Yeah.
Because the way that it works now is the cars have to pull up next to the building, the cameras offload maybe, and if they don't offload by the way they're supposed to, we have to get technology involved, and it's a huge mess. And then as Chief said, we're responsible for all the on-site storage.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming, and I don't know this, I'm assuming that Axon sucks up the old data up into the cloud.
no, we'll maintain the old data, but I mean, you know, well, I should, let me just rephrase that. So we'll maintain the data that we currently have until we don't need it anymore.
Correct.
But the cases that we do need, we can upload them to
Fair.
Axon, and then they'll be preserved in Axon moving forward. So we won't have to maintain all that data ourselves.
But the new cameras connect automatically. They're all cellular connected. We don't need to maintain the data. We don't need to maintain any on-site stuff for that. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the way it's going.
Do we have to be compatible with the county in any aspect of this?
This is compatible with the courthouse, and they're on Axon, and so with this we can just send them a link and they download the video that they need for court. That's another one of the benefits of going with Axon. But we're already doing that with our body camera video, and it's been very nice. I just as a side note with the redaction, the old redaction system for video, it would take hours to, you have a 15-minute video, it could take you a couple hours to redact that if we had a request. And with this new system and with Axon and their redaction software, we can get that down to just a few minutes, not any longer than the video itself to redact it. So it really does bring a lot of efficiencies, and it just brings our squad cars up to date. Some of the camera systems in the squad cars are, I think, like 15 years old.
Yeah, we were
Like that old.
I would say pretty close to 10 for
How
sure.
many squad cars do we have?
11 total. But we'll have cameras in 10 because, I don't have to have a camera.
All right. Any other questions from the board? I'll entertain a motion approving the purchase, authorize and approving a purchase of products from Axon.
So moved.
Second. Questions and comments? Ms. Clerk, can you call roll, please?
Ms. Palestrini? Aye. Mr. Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. Jernerbro? Aye. Mr. Kelly?
All right.
Mr. Coe?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
So the next one's kind of a fun one. As you remember, last meeting, we voted to annex property into the village. But in doing so, it required a supermajority of corporate authorities, which was 5 votes, not 4. And so once we realized what had happened, the ordinance before you repeals everything that we've done with annexing the property and zoning and all of that. We've worked with staff, or staff has worked with the property owner to get everything all in line. This was a pretty big mistake on our part. And so we're going to have to shoulder some of the burden in the publishing and everything to make sure everything's all in the law. The silver lining in this conversation is the board had a conversation at the time about the concern that it was M3 versus M2. And they said that they were willing, being the property owners, were willing to entertain being M2 because it seemed to make sense for what it is that they were doing as opposed to what it is that we approved. And so through this, we'll be able to correct our concern as far as giving that property M3, and the property owners amicable to that as well. So we've fast-tracked all of this so that it goes through planning and zoning appropriately. All the publications in that will be met. We've worked closely with staff to ensure that, staff and legal, to ensure that this type of thing doesn't happen again. But the vote was illegitimate any way you shake it. And so we need to repeal it and do it the right way.
This all will be back in front of you guys at the second board meeting in March.
And
And the president said that we discussed this with the landowner, and it was a full resolution with regards to the landowner.
It's pretty regretful that this happened. There were a lot of us in the room at the time, and we needed a supermajority to annex the property, and that didn't happen. And so by that, everything we did after the fact what's the appropriate term?
Well, no, the annexation is a simple majority, the annexation agreement is a supermajority, the annexation, and then, so it's just, and that's part of the confusion, right? You have two statutes basically governing the same thing with two different voting requirements, and that's what there's some of the confusion on there.
So the bottom line is the voting requirements were not met for one of those steps, and therefore it is all needed to be redone.
I have a question.
Sure.
For number one, if I'm reading this right, it says needs to be approved by a minimum 2/3 of the corporate authority, correct?
Correct.
And it was a 4-1 vote.
Correct.
2/3 is 4 votes.
No, it's not.
5. 2/3 is 4 out of 6.
It's 7. The corporate
There's 6 voting members and 1.
No, the
No,
corporate
not-
authorities includes the president.
Yeah, for certain things, when it's asking for majority of the corporate authorities, they tie the president into the vote.
If it's village board, it's the 6 of you. If it's the corporate authorities, it's the 7 of you. That's by state law.
Have we done corporate authority in the past? And if
We
so,
did it.
why did we not have you vote?
We did during the light hearings, when we went there, when we went through that, my name was called, and it could have been called, it was not. And it was not advised appropriately beforehand, so we just took the vote as normal.
The original light.
Excuse me?
Right, but you had 5 votes for the light hearings. Do you have the 5 votes?
No, right, no, he asked when in which we've done it.
Yeah.
So, and so I use that as an example of when they called me as part of the role because it requires.
So in this case, the issue is that the president wasn't called for the vote.
In this case, the issue with the president wasn't called.
So who are we saying is gonna pay for all of this?
Right now, it's the village.
Okay. I'm paying for it.
And so Vasselli Law is going to pay for it.
The other question I have, sorry, is it talks about simple majority and that it needs 4 votes
Correct.
for a yes. But a simple majority is 1 over who was actually here though, correct? So in some cases it's 4, some it may be 3 if there's only 5 of us here.
No, because as the tallying for ordinances pursuant to state law, you count the president in that group. So it goes, you need 4 votes for the passage of an ordinance.
So then why doesn't the village president vote on every ordinance we ever put forward before the board? Because he's only ever voted in a tiebreaker, or I know in the last hearing you had said that
State law.
Pursuant to state law, the president has the right but not the obligation to vote. He can vote in the event of a tie, to create a tie in the event of a tie, or upon his election pursuant to state law.
What do you mean upon his election?
When he wants to. So the other part of it is if we need to make up that number, right? Like if we need to get to a certain number, then I would vote. If I need to break a tie, then I would vote.
Right, but here's what I don't understand. If we're counting you always as part of what is going to be a super majority or majority, why isn't it just common practice that you vote for any ordinance?
That's a good question. I don't have the answer.
Well, that's common practice. Again, we're talking about law versus practice. In most municipalities, the chair president does not vote. But they can if they want to. They have the right but not the obligation to do so. If that's the practice that we want to adopt, that is a practice. That's something that they can do.
We've always relied on council to say, you need to vote on this one.
Yeah, and I've said
I
that
mean,
before.
and that's what we've always done to alleviate these issues.
Okay, so
And I'm not really trying not an open session to point fingers anywhere. I'm just trying to say that this is what happened. I should have been on the rolls. I didn't vote. We're not advised to that effect, so I wasn't called.
yeah, and I'm not doing this to point fingers. I'm doing it to get clarity and understanding.
I
So
understand.
in the memo, we're defining 2 different bodies, and what I'm hearing you say, Mr. Vasselli, is that actually the definition's the same. In one instance, we say 2/3 of the corporate authority, which you say includes the village president. In the other one, it says a majority of the village board, which you say includes the village
But
president.
the majority of those board is 4. 3 is plural, well, could be a plurality, but a majority would be 4. You need 4 affirmative votes or non-no votes in an ordinance to have it passed in the state of Illinois, full stop.
So I think that that's the question, the question we're missing. It's not the number of people, it's the amount of positive votes.
Or non, can I just change one
But that
thing?
changes based on the size of the board.
No, it doesn't.
No, it does. You need 4 non-negative votes for an ordinance to pass in the state of Illinois. And it could be 1 yes and 3 abstains, and it would still pass. There's a case on
So you need 4. We always need 4.
it for ordinances. Now,
And
in a
then-
resolution or a motion to table or a motion to adjourn, it could be if there's 3 of you here and the president, a plurality would pass it. The group that's of the body. It does depend to a certain extent on the type and the nature of the thing being voted upon. Levies are different levies and appropriations, certain annexation issues. They all have different voting requirements for certain different things. And some things the president, like a corporate authority, like I said, annexation agreement says the corporate authorities, he's brought into.
Is it fair to say, so we avoid this in the future, if a trustee is missing for any reason, that the president should be called?
I mean, you could call it, yes, that's fair to
Is that
say.
a way?
Is it
to
a
be
practice
avoided?
that we would want? We could call the president every time. I mean.
No, I don't, I'm not asking to be called every time. I'm asking, like, what do we do to ensure that this type of thing doesn't happen? Like, what's a reasonable practice so that this way, these types of things don't happen? Because if you need 4 affirmative, and in our situation last week, we had 4 trustees here, right? So theoretically,
We had
you'd be fine.
We have
Okay.
4 affirmative votes out of 5.
There's only one vote there are 2 votes that didn't pass
Correct.
Correct.
based on this. And that's, the second one is where I'm confused.
So
Because in the memo, it says a simple majority of the board. And I understand what you're saying with 4, but that's
Sure.
not what is defined in this memo.
we didn't
It's
have
not saying by state statute you have to have 4. It says a simple majority of the board.
But that is
When
a
I
simple
looked up what a
majority.
simple majority is, it's a simple majority, it's 51% of those present.
Okay, 51% of the board is 6 people.
We didn't have 6 people here.
I know, but that's not what the memo says. The memo says the board, think of the boats and ports. You need to get there's 6, right? The board is comprised of six people, right? Whether they're here or not, the board is comprised of 6 people. There are 6 seats of trustees up here. A majority of that is 4.
And that doesn't change with who is actually present.
That's correct.
Counselor, can I ask, because I can't think of a single municipality that has the mayor or the village president vote during every single,
I think there's,
I'm asking if there is.
yes. State of Illinois. So in the state of Illinois,
Yeah,
every time you vote.
Are there any other municipalities that you have come across?
I know, that's an excellent question. I have had mayors vote when they don't need to, let's say, express their opinion on a certain issue a couple times.
We've done that here, like when we do a resolution or something and we want to send
Yeah.
a message.
A president's supposed to run the meeting.
Correct.
The chair
That's the job of the president, to
is
run
to
the meeting.
not vote.
And it's up to the village board to make the votes.
Correct.
It's
So
an,
there was a simple error that won't happen again. I'm not gonna try and argue law with you because you're a lawyer and I'm
no.
not.
Argue law with me, no, it's fine. People do it all the time. It's not,
A president is there to run the meeting. Period.
and that's a standard parliament, that's tremendous point. That's standard parliamentarian law, that the chair is there to govern over. Now, there is an abrogation to that. There's a deviation from that. There's a change from that in Illinois statutes when it says corporate authorities. Now, to the practical effect, Trustee Kelly, yeah, that's right. It goes to 4. You know, if it's a supermajority, it goes to 5. There's a few instances, very rare, that it's I don't want to get into it because it's so often occurring. But yes, the 4 is a simple majority of the board.
So in the future, I think we need to know when a corporate authority.
Correct, so.
And it's in the ordinance.
Internally, yeah, it's in,
If you read the ordinance, it's in there.
So we have your commitment that you're gonna work with us. And
We're gonna do
whoever,
training.
and
Yeah.
whoever's there is gonna work with us, and staff is gonna work, and we're gonna know when we're gonna call a roll, how many positive votes we need for something to pass.
Yeah, we'll put it directly in the ordinances when it's needed.
How does the chair go about voting then? So, for example, we vote on accounts payable. Does the chair then say, I'd like to cast a vote on this
You
matter?
could if you wanted to, or if it,
Does that have to be announced before roll call is taken?
No.
Or at any time?
at any time, she could call the last name in the group. And then he could say, I would like to call a vote on this. I'm electing to call a vote on this. I'm choosing to call a vote on it.
But the long and short of it is if we don't have 4 positives in any way, then my name should be called. Correct?
on certain things, yes.
Is that?
If you have 4 positives on an ordinance or the expenditure of funds, a good practice would be to call the president's name.
Fair. But if there's only one positive, we still call the president's name?
No, because I'm not gonna make up the majority at that point, so.
No, but you said if we don't have 4 positives, so that you can assume that maybe there's only one positive. So are you saying in the case of a 3-3 tie?
He calls the name by statute, he has to cast a vote to break a tie in the event of a 3-3 tie.
But if it's a 2 ayes, 4 nays, he's not required.
2 ayes, 4
His vote
nays.
wouldn't change.
He could vote, I mean,
He can't
we're talking about
vote.
can and should, right?
Right.
He can vote if he really wants to make an expression of public policy. He can
Yes.
say, yes, I vote yes, I vote on this man.
So can I, not a voting question, more of a procedural now that this, who was a resident, now is no longer a resident, hopefully will be a resident again soon, has to start this process over. I'm looking at the dates in here and it's saying March 9th and to planning and zoning and then back to the village board on March 19th. Isn't there a 30-day period or something for annexations that have to be posted? I mean, what's the time period that we have to, I thought people have to
More than
post or,
30, not less than 15, right?
The applicable statute with regards to the hearing, that's an excellent question, has already been satisfied. We had the hearing already. We already had the hearing in the annexation agreement. We've already done that.
right, we already voted on it, so technically the vote failed.
Right, but it doesn't matter, you had the hearing.
Understood.
Okay.
And then we voted for that annexation agreement that aligns to that hearing, right?
No, there's no necessary nexus between that annexation agreement and the hearing. Because the annexation agreement can come back with a different permutation. Oftentimes you'll have those issues where you have your hearing and there'll be changes that come back and you vote on it at a later date.
Right, but that vote is not a second time voting, it's the first time you're voting on whatever that final annexation agreement is.
Right, but there's no connection between the two. There's separate requirements. There's this requirement to a vote to make it affirmative. And then there's a requirement for an annexation agreement, hearing, which you all satisfied that night, is my understanding.
Right, but so here, sorry, maybe I'm not asking my question correctly. And I apologize for that because I'm really trying to understand.
Yeah,
Per what the memo says and what we've just been discussing, the annexation agreement failed. It does not pass.
did not receive sufficient votes. That's
Correct. So it is, the annexation agreement did not pass.
Correct.
When they come back through this process, they are submitting an annexation agreement that goes back to planning and zoning, that then comes to the board. Isn't that a
No,
different process because they're starting back over?
No.
So why does it go back to planning and zoning?
well, the zoning has to go back for planning and zoning.
Yeah, because we're bringing it back, as that,
They're changing the zone.
Going to M2 and.
So it's only going back because of the M2.
correct.
Correct.
If it wasn't changing M2, it wouldn't have to go back to them.
If it wasn't going back to M2, it would not have to go back. To say we're not going to talk about the annexation when we talk about the annexation of the zoning it's just not practical. It's going to be brought up, right?
Understood.
But we've satisfied our hearing requirements relative to the annexation agreement. When we've done that already, that's taken care of. We can check that proverbial box. When we have to go back because which we all wanted in the beginning, the M2. When they go back through that process, we have to go through the hearing requirement again.
So we do have to have another hearing.
Yeah, we're gonna have a zoning hearing, that's why it's in there. Planning and zoning hearing is happening on March the 9th. And then on the 19th, I believe, we approve everything. Presumptively, we have a vote on everything. And you need a supermajority vote on the annexation agreement.
And my name will be called.
And so the public hearing sign just has to be a minimum of 15 days before.
Yeah, and it's only the limited jurisdiction of that sign is the zone. We covered the issues with regards to the annexation.
Does the annexation, I don't remember because I don't have it in front of me, did the annexation agreement reference the zoning?
Yeah, it did. It got
So that
referenced,
has to change that.
and that's fine. Because you can make changes from the time period from the annexation agreement hearing to its approval, which will now occur on March 19th presumably,
Even if it's not approved,
even if it's not approved.
and then it changes,
Yeah,
it
that's,
still is fine.
yeah, all you have to do is have a hearing.
Treated as a separate, or a new annexation agreement.
No, it is not treated as a new annexation. Not for the purposes of the hearing. Obviously, for the purposes of the ordinance, they are two separate documents. But for the purposes of the hearing, we have satisfied that requirement.
Are you good over there, trustee Kelly?
As good as I will be.
I want you to be able to ask whatever.
No, it's just a comedy of errors.
Anybody else have any questions? I want to apologize to the property owner this time.
Okay.
No, I'm saying that I want to apologize. We messed this one up. Plain and simple. And,
What's the
I appreciate your comments, but we don't interact with the public during this. I can speak to you after the meeting. It's not a problem. So anyhow, I apologize and I'm thankful that they're willing to continue working with us. Then with that being said, I will entertain a motion approving the ordinance, repealing ordinances 2607, 2609, and 2610.
So
Second,
Questions or comments?
Is an aye vote a vote to repeal?
Yes.
Okay. Do we just need a board majority?
4 votes.
4 votes.
4 non-no votes. 4 non-no
Good
votes.
No, but I mean, there's things in here that needed 5, so I just want to be sure that
Yes.
4 votes.
And sorry, one more question on this, because the repeal is for 3 things. We voted on 5. We're not repealing all 5
You
things.
don't need to.
So we're just repealing the 3 ordinance. Well, there were 4 ordinances.
Yeah, there were 4.
There were 5 ordinances.
So
we're
which
only
ones are we
repealing
leaving?
3 of them.
I think it is going to be 8.
We're leaving 8 and
I don't have.
11.
5.
There's the annexation agreement ordinance, the annexation ordinance, the rezoning ordinance, the special use ordinance, and the variance ordinance.
We have to vote that.
Sorry, it doesn't have the ordinance numbers next to them, so that's why I'm asking the question.
So it's gonna be-
Which one specifically?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's the annexation agreement and the rezoning did not pass, so you don't repeal something that hasn't passed. So you repealing the annexation, the special use, and the variance.
Okay, because the other
Because the other ones is house.
Okay.
The necessary nature of it is that it's sale by procedural vote.
I do.
4 non-no votes. And I know that sounds, it's a double negative. It's intentionally a double negative, because the case law says you can abstain and it still goes towards passing.
All right, we do have a first and a second. Are there any other questions? Ms. Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. Jernerbro?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Mr. Coth?
Aye.
Mrs. Palastrellini?
aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Is there any old business to discuss this evening? Next, we have staff reports. We have a police report and a streets report. Please review them at this time. I have a question about streets report. When do we get to move in?
They're looking like March 6th, March 7th.
Wait, garage doors come in yet?
Did you do that on purpose? The paint around.
Two of them are installed, I saw. It's like a third one still wasn't there. I don't know if it's there, but it wasn't installed as of
We did
today.
that on purpose. 6th or 7th?
Oh, 6.
Sorry.
There you go.
I'd like to ask about the two auto thefts.
Okay.
What, was it a driveway? Was it a dealership? Was it?
No, they were genuine auto thefts. I
Okay,
mean, secured cars, there was, no keys.
Okay.
They were damaged, the vehicles were damaged. The good news is that, although I don't want to discuss the details, we have a suspect, who is a Hampshire resident, but he was arrested, in another jurisdiction. And we believe this person's responsible for actually not like multiple communities. So it's that we're actually been working with, Sycamore, DeKalb, and Rockford on the case, so. Hopefully,
was it in someone's out of someone's driveway? Was it
driveway and street both.
driveway and street? Okay. It wasn't like they were at a restaurant and
No.
parked.
No,
Thank you.
but it wasn't we joke about people not securing their vehicles and, but that wasn't the case in this. These were genuine, secured vehicles that were broken into and so on.
Thank you.
Typically, people just leave their cars unlocked with their keys inside. Like honestly and truly, that's for the majority of them.
And then I get accused for victim blaming if I say, hey, don't leave your keys in your car.
We did try to advise the public not to leave their keys in the car, and then the public got mad in the way that we
Yes.
told them not to do dumb things.
I would like to point out, it's a very brief report. Actually, January was relatively quiet. I mean, I'm sure it was because of the cold. But we did accomplish our accreditation. Last time we talked about the on-site and.
Yep, there's a letter here on the dais here. We just got this today.
Yes.
Dear Chief Pan, is it an honor to formally notify you that the Law Enforcement Accreditation Council has unanimously approved the Hampshire Police Department for Tier 1 accreditation. This achievement recognizes the high level of professional service you and your staff provide the Hampshire community. It also highlights the commitment to your local, commitment your local officials have made to maintaining a strong public safety standards. Congratulations to you and the entire Hampshire Police Department.
Thank you.
So this is great news.
And we'll have a ceremony here. I don't know what date yet, but we have to figure that out with availability for staff to come and all that. So.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Chief, and to your department. And thanks to Lieutenant Nevlock.
Yeah. He had the heavy lift, that's for sure.
Any questions on any of the reports? Hearing none, I can move on to the Village Board Committee report. BDC?
BDC met last Wednesday. We discussed the facade program a little bit in regards to the budget and recommendations from the BDC of what to recommend to the budget committee. And Mr. Khan, keep me honest, the budget committee or the BDC feels like the facade programs should stay around, but the priority for this village right now should be the comprehensive plan. And so funding, whether 50K or 100K that would normally go into the facade program should be reallocated for the, or utilized for the comprehensive plan, because those can run 100 to 120K or whatever the bids come in at. And so the BDC we discussed that. We discussed the comprehensive plan and the idea of when Mr. Khan went through the proposal, there was some really good discussions around that. The proposal being what people would submit bids against when we get to the time of whether we have budget for a comprehensive plan or not. I say that because we're getting ready to start the budget process, so it's not guaranteed yet. So we had some good discussions there. There was also some discussion of should we look at segmenting specific areas as top focuses within a comprehensive plan to have those done first before an entire report was done. Mr. Khan shared that would add costs to it overall, so I think some of that is part of budget consideration. But that's where a majority of our time was spent. Is there anything I'm missing? Okay. Any questions on that?
Do you have anything to add to your budget committee?
Budget committee. So as I shared in the last meeting, the first meeting for the budget committee will be February 24th, which is next Tuesday at 6:30 here at Village Hall. The second one will be March 3rd, which is the following Tuesday, 6:30 here at Village Hall. And the third meeting, if needed, will be March 10th, 6:30 here at Village Hall. The budget committee is who will establish whether we have a quorum or not, but it is considered a meeting of the whole because all of the village board and the village president are welcome to attend, and their feedback as active participants is welcome.
Is there an agenda ready for the budget committee discussion? Because I haven't received one yet.
I haven't put it together to have it sent out yet, but my question to Ms. Seehausen, is the budget going to be ready in time for the committee to review prior to that
I
meeting?
am hopeful that we'll get it out tomorrow.
Yep.
Tomorrow, okay. And we can get the
So if you
agenda
wanna
to you
get the
tomorrow
agenda
as
to
well.
me, then we'll send everything out,
Perfect.
okay?
Yep. And we'll use the same system that we use for the board meetings, correct or no?
Yeah, I should be able to.
Yes.
I just would like to avoid printing a, 60 or however many page budget is.
Great.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just question, what was the alternate date that you said was up the
So
10th?
March 10th is if needed. So if we don't get through everything, the first two where we feel good to make a recommendation to the board, then that's the if needed.
Okay, thank you.
The goal is to be able to do it in two, but we are reserving that date just in case.
Thank you. I got the first two, I didn't get the second.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
We don't have anything too wild coming at you guys.
Yeah, it's going to be smaller than normal because it's a smaller, hopefully, because it's a smaller year.
Same process, obviously, we did, but we did a lot of bouncing to the 27.
Yeah, I think one thing I do want to just state, and if nobody's had a chance to do it, I know there have been some officials that have made statements on what was shared yesterday as a part of the state budget, but there are motions in the state budget that may affect our local budget and may affect it significantly. So those are things we're going to need to make sure that we're covering just what that impact would be if it does go forward for our budget. Even though it's a smaller budget for the year, it still can have an impact, or even in the next year.
Mhm.
So even if we're putting stuff off to the year after, that could have a decent impact.
Yeah, for those that haven't watched the governor's budget address from yesterday, I encourage you to do so. It was about 30 minutes or so. It's not very uplifting from a municipal standpoint at all. And it highlights more local control they're taking away from our zoning abilities. That was one of their conversations. And the biggest one is insurance premiums and LGDF, which is a local government distributed fund, which is our share of the Illinois state sales tax. It's just distributed on a per capita level. It's supposed to be at 10% according to the 1970s agreement, and it's slowly gone down every single year. And so last year, I believe, is at 6.41%, and this year it's they're proposing 6.28.
Yeah, just to clarify that too, your taxes aren't going down.
Correct.
You're still charging the same tax.
Correct. It's our
It's
share
just
of it.
they're sending the money to other areas.
No, they're just spending more in Springfield.
Well, yes,
And we're not getting the amount of money from the
that's a
state.
direct way of saying it.
So,
Yeah.
the Metro West is going down on the 24th of March to meet with the governor. I don't know what effect that's going to have, but we're going to do our best. Just know that that's happening as well. And I've had a few conversations with our elected officials that are down there, our state rep and our senator yesterday and today about it. And they are advocating on our behalf. But they're in the minority, the super minority party there as well. So they don't get a whole lot of movement when it comes to that. However, there's a lot of municipalities throughout the state that are pretty frustrated with yesterday's address as well. So maybe there's some compromise, right? We'll see.
And then the last thing on the budget, the other thing that can affect the budget that I'd just like to understand where we're at on is the census recount. Have we gotten updates on that? Do we know where we're at, time horizon?
We're probably not gonna have anything resulted back to us until probably June, right?
We won't start to see any money for that for at least 9 months from today. Like,
But just as you're looking at what we push to the next year, that's why it's also important to understand what that financial impact will be. If it's what we hope it is and what we estimated, or if it's not.
And, we are also, I have a meeting scheduled to try and find some, funding for some of our capital improvements, because we are not going to be able to fund them all. So I'm gonna be trying to work with some of our vendors on that as well.
yeah, and we recommitted, we actually this ties in. So last week, Mary Jo and myself met with our state senator and rep here as well. And we presented them a list of priorities for the village and some needs that we have as far as capital improvement and, different funding opportunities and different needs as far as like the services we need for our residents and businesses. And we had a really good conversation with them as far as what they can advocate for us directly for the village of Hampshire at the state level. And so we appreciate their willingness to come out and meet with us on a one-on-one basis, and we appreciate the fact that they're willing to include us in a conversation. Some of which we're already seeing some action on, believe it or not. And so that's a positive thing. Some of the concerns we have about services and medical care for some of our residents, and the state rep and senator have already gone to work setting up, trying to set up meetings with us with different care providers to advocate for our most needy individuals here. Medical care is a big deal, and not everybody has the ability to go to another town to see a doctor or to see a specialist. And so that was positive to see today. So we'll see where it all goes, but we appreciate that people are starting to listen to us and understand where we're coming from. And I'm thankful to staff for working alongside of us to be like it.
Just, and I apologize because I don't have a lot of information on this, but I was asked today by a business about the proposal to increase the minimum wage to $27.
How much?
27. And I haven't seen any legislation anywhere on it, and I think it was a campaign thing. Okay,
Gotta be, because
so
it ain't
there's
gonna
no
happen.
legislation at this.
There's no legislation on this.
All right. I thought I might have missed
I was in
something, but,
Springfield today, there's no legislation on it.
okay. Thank you.
One of the senatorial candidates has mentioned that multiple times.
Okay.
You know it'll pass when you see me at McDonald's and I take.
And I'm working.
Oh my God.
For 27.
Any questions
Thank
for
you.
budget committee?
Because that would affect our employees.
That's it for me.
Thank you. We do not have executive tonight.
Nope.
Any announcements?
I just have a general question. I didn't think it would apply to budget. We had gotten a grant or been awarded a grant for work on Park and Ren to have that done. Where are we at with that?
The same place we're at with the $3 million we were awarded for the Public Works Building. We're just waiting.
And we've gotten updates. One is state, one's federal. They're different.
No, they're both federal.
I thought that was.
We ended up taking a state grant because we didn't have the matching dollars, so we used a state grant that we were going to use for community signage from Severson to offset or do the match portion of the grant for Park and Ren. We still haven't seen the dollars for that. That was a federal grant, but we used the state grant to match the numbers.
So was it canceled?
No, it hasn't been canceled. It just hasn't been funded.
For the record, all of the appropriations bills except DHS have all gone through. So there are 12 budget appropriation bills and 11 of them have passed. So I can't speak to the grants here, but the other ones are funded this year. Last year is because it was a continuing resolution. It does not include new dollars. So you continue the budget as exactly as it was the last time. And so our request for money for new money cannot be included in a continuing resolution. So this year, they've passed 11 of the 12 buckets of appropriations. And then any grant that falls into one of those areas, they can move forward with funding. Anything that's connected to Department of Homeland Security, and those dollars in there would not. And
So that means it was
Supposedly,
funded then?
but we just met,
It should be
it should be,
funded?
because that building wouldn't fall under Homeland Security
Right.
or.
we've got no communication,
PSA.
and we just
Can we
met,
reach out to them?
we just met
I'm meeting
with,
with the congressman's senior staff, who's in charge of that grant, next week, and I'm going to bring it up.
yeah, because we should have gotten communication by now, because when we met with him at the Fire Protection District, when they invited us to their meeting that they had with Foster, he said he was gonna be calling us on Sunday. That was 2 weeks ago. I mean, Chief Dan was in the same room when we were having. that
Didn't the
conversation.
board get invited to that?
No, well, so the reason that I got invited is because the Fire Protection District reached out to me and said, would you come to our event? So I'm not in the habit of inviting others to a place that I was invited to.
Got it.
So, but we met with Foster at that point. And he said he was gonna be calling us on Sunday, and we have yet to receive that. Well, we've got, to your point, over pretty close to $4 million in federal grants that we were,
This sounds like
awarded.
appropriated too.
Again, it's a matter of us waiting for a phone call that we still haven't gotten. So, anyhow. Any other questions or announcements?
No, just congrats to all the high school kids that made it to state for wrestling.
Holy cow, right?
So congrats to Hampshire High School showing up strong there again.
And then we have some cheerleaders going to state too.
Yeah.
And then, there was there was middle school wrestlers as well.
Yeah.
We got a lot of talent.
That was cool. They had the kids out there with signs cheering them on and good news.
And one more thing.
Yes.
You said cheerleaders were
Yeah.
to see. Was it cheer or dance?
Cheer and dance. Hold on, we're not good with the segues. Madam, just a little bit.
Mr. Bob's like, should I pause the video? Should we not just sit quiet?
We haven't adjourned yet, so he's got to record all this dead air. Bears. Hammond Bears.
Did the
Gary Bear is shaving.
did the Chicago Bears ever
Never.
receive our letter?
Oh, they received
Be a big bear with a couple of pistols underneath for Gary.
stolen.
Did the Bears respond?
No.
No.
Whose birthday is it?
They raised my ticket prices. Did that count?
Yeah.
Then they received.
Whose birthday is
I'm making it up because you like him.
it? Oh, I'm good with that.
Jimmy's birthday?
Is it Mr. Vaselli's birthday?
Really?
I like your torch.
He's 25.
I can't take credit for that. Aaron,
511?
we celebrate you, Jimmy.
No,
Is
911.
it the new man?
All right, folks.
Oh,
Ready?
You ready?
Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Judy. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
So,
Make a wish.
I wondered if
Motion to adjourn?
So move.
second.
Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, meet with you.
Coming